Hi everyone, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back. How are you all? Quickly let me know in the chat box if I am visible and audible. Hi Robin, hi Henry. Hi. Come on, let's start. So as discussed, today we are going to start with kinematics. We are going to solve some good level questions of one-dimensional motion and two-dimensional motion, right? Along with these questions, I'm going to also explain the concepts. So do not think that we are not going to talk about the concepts, right? But I'm not going to explain theory first. I'm going to start with numericals. Using those numericals, we are going to complete theory, right? I am all fine. I am all fine. Hi everyone, hi. Come on, without any delay, shall we start? Okay, so the most important thing about today's class is that I have brought questions which are similar to NEET 2025, right? You are going to also see, please attempt these questions with me right now in my class, and then after some time, please do these questions for revision also, right? This is going to be very helpful. Complete this lecture. If you are going to solve these many questions from kinematics, you will be good enough to go for your mock exams as far as kinematics is concerned, right? I am pretty sure that after this lecture, your kinematics will be all done. Now let's begin, right? Without any delay, let's begin, my dear friends. Quickly, let's start. Yes, you can start this class without revising the chapter. I'm going to explain the concepts. Do not worry. I'm going to explain all the related concepts while solving the questions, right? So let's start. First of all, we are going to talk about some of the basic formulas, like for example as distance, displacement, time, average velocity, average acceleration. Please remember that if a particle is moving in a circular motion and it is going from point A to point B, these are some of the formulas that you can remember so that you can save your time in your exam, right? So distance is basically arc length, that is r theta. Displacement is given as 2r sine theta by 2. We can derive it easily, but you don't have to do it. Simply remember it. If a particle goes from point A to point B, this straight line is displacement, this arc length is distance. So distance is r theta, displacement is 2r sine theta by 2. Ratio of displacement is distance you can take. Time will be simply distance traveled divided by speed. So distance traveled is r theta divided by u, and finally you can also find out the average velocity and average speed, right? So hopefully you don't have any doubt in this. Now let's start. See, I have got many questions in which we have got good graphs, right? Let's begin. In this question they are saying that the figure shows the displacement time graph of a particle moving on the x-axis, and then we have got options. Let's quickly do it. The first option says the particle is continuously going in the positive x direction, right? The particle is at rest. The next option says the particle increases up, the velocity increases up to time t naught and then becomes constant. The last option says the particle moves at constant velocity up to time t naught and then stops. Quick my dear friends, and then I'm going to help you. Over here I'm going to also explain the concepts. Over here I'm going to explain the concept involved. See, the concept is that if you have got a displacement time graph, this is a displacement time graph, they are also saying it. So in a displacement time graph, the slope basically tells us velocity. The slope basically tells us velocity. So if you have got a straight line, like this, that means slope is constant. Slope is constant. For this line, my dear friends, for this line slope is 0. For this line slope is 0, that means velocity is 0. This is a straight line, that means velocity is constant. So particle moves with constant velocity till t naught and then it comes at rest, right? So particle moves at constant velocity up to t naught and then it comes to rest. Clear? See, please understand, I'm going to definitely give you some good questions, level 2, level 3 problems, some really difficult questions, but I'm going to also explain the entire chapter using questions like this. So we are not going to miss anything. We are not going to miss a single topic because I'm going to complete each and every topic using some of the questions like this. Now you can say, sir, this is a level 1 problem. So I'm going to use level 1 problem to solve, to basically complete our concepts. So what is the concept? Concept is simple: displacement time graph. If we have got a displacement time graph, its slope gives velocity, and if you have got a straight line, that means slope is constant. That means whatever that slope gives, that thing is constant. Clear? Now let's move on, and after this it comes to rest. So option D is absolutely correct. The problem with option A is that they are saying that it is continuously going on. Well, it is not, right? It is not continuously going on. After T naught, it is coming to rest. Clear? Moving on to the next question. Let's see this problem. All of these questions are good problems, and by the way, these two questions are from H.C. Verma. A particle has velocity u towards east, fine, at t equals to 0. Its acceleration is towards west and is constant. Let xa and xb be the magnitude of the displacements in the first 10 seconds and the next 10 seconds. Then we have got options. Kindly see and let's quickly do it. If you have any doubt, do let me know in the chat box, right? So question is basically saying that let's suppose we have got a body like this. All right, please see, we have got a body like this, and this body is moving towards east. So it has got some initial velocity towards east and acceleration is acting towards west. And then they are saying that let xa and x be the magnitude of displacement in first 10 seconds and the next 10 seconds. Then please tell me whether xa will be less than xb, or both of them are going to be same, or xa is greater than xb, or again answer should be D. That means the information is insufficient to decide the relation of xa and xb. Come on, be quick. Acceleration is acting in opposite direction, right? Acceleration is acting in opposite direction to the velocity. Now you have to tell me about xa and xb. Be quick, think about it. See, the answer for this answer for this question will be again option D, my dear friends. Option D. And I'll help you. I'll help you in this question. I'm going to give you all the possible cases. Kindly see. We all know that let's suppose, let me give you one example. Let's say a particle's velocity is 4 meter per second and acceleration acting is 2 meter per second square. Clear? Right? So it will come to rest in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, it will come at rest. Right? After every second, 2 meter per second of velocity will change. That means after total 2 seconds, 2 2s are 4. That means after 2 seconds, this 4 meter per second will become 0. Now after this time, please understand acceleration is constantly acting in this direction and it is 2 meter per second square. I have assumed it, right? So this is 2 seconds. Now it will keep on moving in this direction, right? But the point that I'm trying to make is this depends on the values of initial velocity and acceleration. What I'm trying to say is, let's suppose if velocity is, let's suppose 10 meter per second, or let's say 20 meter per second. Got it? And acceleration is of 2 meter per second. Then in 10 second time, it will come at rest. And then again in 10 second time, the body will be at the same position and the velocity will be 20 meter per second over here. So we can have different cases. We can have different cases. xa can be greater than xb, xb can be greater than xa. They can be same also. It depends upon initial velocity and acceleration. It depends upon initial velocity and acceleration. So we cannot simply arrive to a general answer. Got it? Right? So you can have another examples also. So the information is insufficient because I'll write down the concept because initial velocity and acceleration values are not given. Values are not given. All right. Let me tell you, I am 100% confident if you guys are going to complete these 60, 70 odd questions from kinematics, your kinematics will be sealed, right? Everything will be done. You just have to revise this after some time. So let's quickly move on. Now let's see the next question. The next question is something like this. I am hoping that NTA will again give some of the questions related to graphs, right? So let's solve some good graph questions from this chapter. Question says in this figure, shows the position of a particle on the x-axis as a function of time, and then again we have got 4 options. Let me read the 4th option because I think it is getting covered by these things. The 4th option says the average velocity for the total period shown is negative. That means total average velocity is negative, right? And we have to again select the correct option. Be quick, my dear friends. Be quick. Be really quick. The first option says the particle comes to rest 6 times, right? So again, the concept is, my dear friends, that if you have got a velocity, if you have got a displacement time graph, the slope will give us velocity. The slope will give us velocity. Now, wherever the slope is becoming 0, at that point, particle will come at rest. Got it? So, slope is becoming 0 at this point. How do you know, sir? Because it is changing the direction, right? First, it was decreasing, then it is increasing. That means once, then second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, and sixth time. So, I believe my first option is absolutely correct, that the particle has come to rest 6 times. Clear? The particle has come to rest 6 times. Now let's also understand the other options, right? Because we are right now not in a mock exam. So let's also read the next options. The maximum speed is at t equals to 6 seconds. Okay, fine. So let's find out what is happening at t equals to 6 seconds. That means at this point, let's draw a tangent, my dear friends. At this point, let's draw a tangent. The tangent will look something like this. Well, I can clearly see there are more points where the tangent is more steep than at t equals to 6. Kindly see, if this tangent is more steep, that means more speed or higher speed. Higher speed, right? But we can easily see, my dear friends, that actually this tangent is more steeper, right? It is more steep than this one and also this one, right? So definitely this option is not correct. The velocity remains positive for t equals to 0 to t equals to 6. T equals to 0 is this, t equals to 6 is this. Now velocity, see, if slope is positive, then velocity is positive. If slope is negative, then velocity is negative. So slope is negative before this point, right? Slope is negative over here, slope is negative over here, slope is negative over here. So this is absolutely wrong, that velocity remains positive. Velocity does not remains positive. Clear? Velocity does not remains positive. The average velocity for the total period shown is negative. It is not negative. See, now you can say, sir, I have got a doubt in the D part because I don't know what this is going to be. But see, the graph is not accurate, but definitely option A is correct. Now, it is very important for you to select the best option in your final NEET exam, my dear friends. You have seen, right, what has happened in NEET 2026. There were multiple questions where there was ambiguity, there was a doubt that more than one options can be correct. Especially when we were talking about kinematics, there was a question from graph. And if you are going to reverse the sign convention, you are going to get another answer as well. But choose the best possible option. NTA is not going to bend for those things, right? Now let's move on. So definitely option A is correct because slope is becoming 0 6 times. Slope is becoming 0 6 times, my dear friends. Let's move on to the next problem. Now let's have some numericals also. This question says we have got two balls A and B at the top of a 180-meter tall tower. Ball A is released from the top at t equals to 0 seconds. Ball B is thrown vertically down with an initial velocity u at t equals to 2 seconds. After a certain time, both balls meet 100 meter above the ground. Find the value of u. Find the value of u, my dear friends. Alright, so I'm going to give you some time. Till then, I'll help you with the diagram. Let's quickly solve these questions. Everyone solve it. So you have got a tower which is 180 meter high, my dear friends, and we have got two balls. We are dropping one of the ball and we are throwing one of the ball. Now the important point is you have got ball A and B, okay, and then they are saying that ball A is released at t equals to 0. So ball A is released at t equals to 0. Fine. And then they are saying ball B is thrown vertically down. So ball B is thrown vertically down with initial velocity u, but it is thrown at t equals to 2 seconds. Now they are saying that after a certain time, both balls meet 100 meter above the surface. Great. So let's suppose this is 100 meter above the surface. This is 100 meter above. That means from the top it is going to be 80 meter. This means that both of these balls are at the same place at the same time. So let's write down the equation for A. My dear friends, the concept is I'm going to use equation S equals to ut plus half at square. Kindly see, I'm explaining the concept as well using these numericals. Please see. Both of them are at the same point at 80 meters. So let me write down the equation for A. So I'm going to write minus 80 is equals to 0 multiplied by, let's say they are meeting at some time, they are meeting after time t for A, right? From this time they are meeting at this place at time t, right? So 0 into t minus half g into t square. Clear? Now obviously you can cancel out this, and this t will become, this will become 16, that means this will become 4 second. Got it? And if this is 4 second, then let's do it same for B. Now B is also at minus 80. We need to find out its initial velocity, but the point is that it will reach at that point in t plus 2 second. In t plus 2 second, please remember, because this particle was thrown at t equals to 2 second. So when B will reach over here, the total time we are going to write it as t plus 2, right? T plus 2. Hopefully everything is clear. Alright, my dear friends, and minus half g into t plus 2 whole square. And now you can find out equation u from here. Kindly do it, and if you have any doubt, do let me know, my dear friends. Be quick. Be really quick. Sorry, this is going to be 4. This is going to be this is 16, right? Yeah. This is going to be 4. Here. Let me know if you have any doubt. Be quick, my dear friends. Find out the correct answer. Be quick. Let's see. Let me just read it again. Ball A is released. Ball B is thrown with an initial. B is thrown, right? Yeah. Please find out what answer we are getting from here. According to me, answer should be D. According to me, answer should be D. Be quick. from where you are going to get notes after the class, after class will end, I'll help you in that. After class ends, I'm going to help you in that. Kindly find me the answer, be quick. Do you have any doubt? Let me just read it once again for you. See, ball A is released from the top at t equals to 0 seconds, so t equals to 0 second, and ball B is thrown down, right? Ball B is thrown down at t equals to 2 second. So it is thrown at t equals to 2 second. After a certain time, both balls meet at 100 meter. All right, clear? Find out the answer for this, and let's see the next question. A bullet is fired into a fixed target. A bullet is fired into a fixed target and it loses 1/3 of its velocity. It loses 1/3 of its velocity. It loses 1/3 of its velocity after traveling 4 centimeter. After traveling 4 centimeter. Right? After traveling 4 centimeter. It penetrates further d into 10 to the power minus 3 meter before coming to rest. My dear friends, can you please find out the answer for the last one? Be quick, because I think I think answer will not match if we'll use the second equation. Just solve it again. A bullet is fired into a fixed target, it loses 1/3 of the velocity after traveling 4 centimeter. So if it travels 4 centimeter, it loses 1/3 of the velocity. So let's suppose the bullet was moving with velocity u, and then if it loses 1/3 of its velocity, then v becomes 2u by 3. So the equation will be, equation that I'm going to use is v square equals to u square plus 2a into s. So instead of v, I'm going to write 2u by 3 is equals to u square plus 2a into, instead of s, I'm going to write 4 into 10 to the power minus 3. 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter. This is my first equation. This is my first equation, my dear friends. This is my first equation. All right. Clear? Be quick. And then next, let's read the next part. Next, they are saying it penetrates further d into 10 to the power minus 3 meter before coming to rest. All right. The value of d is, so what we can now do is we can write down 0 square is equals to u square plus 2a, and instead of s, my dear friends, it already traveled 4 centimeter, right? It already traveled 4 centimeter. So 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 plus this distance d, right? So d into 10 to the power minus 3. Or what you can do is, if you only want to use, let's suppose from this point to this point, this is that distance d into 10 to the power minus 3, and this is your final velocity u. So you can also write final velocity square is equals to initial velocity square plus 2a into, instead of s, let's write d into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. This is your second equation, my dear friends. This is your second equation. Please note it down, and after this, simply divide these two equations. Simply divide these two equations, you will get your answers. Be quick. Clear? Everything sorted? Quickly let me know in the chat box. Be quick. First, it loses 1/3 of its velocity. Please see, they are saying that it loses 1/3 of its velocity. That means from u by 3, it will lose 1/3 of its velocity. That means 2u by 3 velocity will be the final velocity. So that's why I've written 2u by 3. And then they are saying that it further penetrates d into 10 to the power minus 3, and then it comes to rest. So I'm going to use third equation twice. First between this point, and then between this point and this point. And now you guys can find the answer. Be quick. Any more doubts with this problem? Clear? Quick. Friends, see and let me know if you have got any doubt. Clear? You know what you can also do is, if I'm going to actually help you in this one, what you can also do is, let's rewrite this equation as let's rewrite this equation as, this is 4 u square by 9, and this is going to be minus u square, and this is going to become 2a, and this will be 4 into 10 to the power minus 2, and this will become minus 5 u square by 9 is equals to 2a 4 into 10 to the power minus 2. Friends, let's do one thing. Let's rewrite this equation also, right? This will become minus 4 u square. I am now writing this equation over here. Minus 4 u square divided by 9 is equals to 2a. Let's write this thing as x and let's divide it. Kindly see, let's divide these two equations. When you are going to divide them, 2a and 2a will get cancelled out, 9 and 9 will get cancelled out, minus and minus will get cancelled out, u square and u square will get cancelled out, and we'll be left with, we are going to get 5 by 4 is equals to, you have got 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 divided by x, and then you have to find the value of x. So from here you can find out the value of x, that is going to be 16 divided by 5 into 10 to the power minus 2, or what you can do is you can write 16 times 10 divided by 5 into 10 to the power minus 3. This will become 2, that this will become 32 into 10 to the power minus 3. So 32 is the correct answer. Correct? 32 is going to be the correct answer, my dear friends. Be quick. Let me know in the chat box if you have got any doubt, friends. Clear? Can we move on? Any more doubts? Friends, for this now, I think there is going to be a change. You guys are not checking this equation. See, the thing is, in this question, A is, let's suppose A is covering this distance in t time, right? Then this will cover this distance in t minus 2 time. That is what I am trying to say, right? So again, write down the equation, although the answer will be 30, but again write down the equation and think about it. This is covering this distance of 80 meter in t time, but this is not covering in t time, this is covering in t minus 2 time, because this was dropped, this was thrown after 2 seconds. So please note this thing down. Answer is 30 definitely. An equation is also right, we are going to use second equation only, but again do it. Okay, hopefully this question is absolutely clear to you. Now let's move on. Let's read this question. Okay, clear? A train starting from rest, a train starting from rest first accelerates uniformly up to a speed of 80 km per hour. All right, 80 km per hour for time t. Great. Then it moves with a constant speed for t equals to 3t second. 3t time. It's not in second, 3t time. The average speed of the train for this duration will be, come on, you guys do it. This is about average speed. I think you guys can do it. Let's start. 90 seconds. Let's begin. Be quick. A train starting from rest accelerates uniformly up to a speed of 80 for time t. Then it moves with a constant speed for time 3t. The average speed of the train for this duration of journey will be. Be quick. Find the answer. Henry, Robin, be quick. Quickly find the answer for this one. Come on. You just have to write down the answer in the chat box. And if you want to check your rank, use PyLens app. Okay, use PyLens app. All right, good, Madhu. I've got only one answer. You guys can't do this problem about average speed. Be quick. 20 seconds remaining. Be quick. Let's suppose this is a displacement time graph, right? So body is accelerating. It first accelerates. Sorry. So let's write velocity time graph. So it first accelerates up to a speed 80 and then it moves with a constant speed, right? So this is time t and this duration is 3t. This is t and this duration is 3t, that means this will become 4t. This will become 4t and this is 80 kilometer per hour, right? So if someone is talking about average speed, the concept is that average speed is total distance divided by total time. So one mistake that many students are going to commit in these types of problem is you are going to write down this as 3t. This duration is 3t, do not forget this t. So actually the total duration is 4t and then this is going to be the distance because it is traveling in straight line, half base into height, that means 40t plus this is 3t and this is 80. So that means 80 multiplied by 3t. So we can cancel out this. This will become 20. I'm sorry. This will become 10. This will become 20. So this is going to be 60 and plus this is going to be 70 and in same unit because they were asking in kilometer per hour. So 70 is going to be the correct answer. D. I've got only 3 answers correct. So kindly see, this is that I have been saying this for a long time that NTA is not going to give you all the questions of advanced level. Obviously, do not assume this that paper is going to be so difficult, but it will not be like NEET 2024 level or NEET 2026 level, right? So you can expect questions like these. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's see this problem. This is a nice question. This is a nice question, my dear friends. Okay, and I'll help you in this one. The question is saying a ball is thrown up with a certain velocity so that it reaches height h. Please understand this question. So that it reaches height h, find the ratio of two different times of the ball reaching h by 3 in both the directions. You have to find out the ratio. This is a new type of a problem, right? You might not have solved these questions in your DPP, in your notes. All right. There are 2 ways to solve these questions. I'm going to give you the quickest way possible. See, many times I have told you this thing. Let me draw a diagram for you. Let's suppose a particle is thrown, and by the way, see, now I am talking about theory. I'm explaining you theory, I'm explaining you concept using this question, so pay attention. And the concept is motion under gravity. Motion under gravity. All right. Now the point is that if you throw a particle and let's say it moves something like this, and then the particle will come down, and I'm showing that path over here. At this point, obviously, final velocity will become 0. Let's say total height is h. Let's say this total height is h. And they are saying that particle is at certain height, small h, like this. The particle is at a certain height, small h, like this. All right. And we know that at these points, let's suppose if the particle has velocity v in this direction, then particle will have same magnitude of velocity but in opposite direction. Another point, my dear friends, please see, these things are very, very important. Let's say time was t1 over here and time is t2 over here. Time was t1 at this point and time was t2 at this point, right? Now, my dear friends, if you remember, we have actually written 2 or 3 formulas. One is that small h can be written as 1 upon 2 g multiplied by t1 times t2. This is small h. One formula. Another formula, capital H is actually equals to 1 upon 8 times g into t1 plus t2 whole square. This is another formula. This is another formula. All right, clear? H is equals to 1 upon 2 g t1 t2 and H is equals to 1 upon 8 g t1 plus t2 whole square. Now, let's use these concepts over here. See what they are trying to say. They are saying that we have got a particle, we have thrown a particle with certain velocity u. The particle moves in this direction. Let's suppose total height is something. And by the way, they are giving total height, right? And they are saying that it reaches to a height h. That means total height is h. This total height is h. And then they are saying, find the ratio of height of ball reaching h by 3 in both directions. So let's say this is h by 3. This is h by 3. So let's say this is time t1 and this is time t2. So my dear friends, first equation will be h by 3 is equals to 1 upon 2 g into t1 into t2. First equation is going to be this. Clear? First equation is going to be this. Second equation will be capital H will be equals to, and by the way, capital H is nothing but small h. So small h will be equals to 1 upon 8 g t1 plus t2 whole square. Clear? From this equation we can also write, that small h is equals to 3 by 2 g into t1 t2. So if h is equals to this and h is equals to this, then we can equate these two equations. That means my dear friends, 3 by 2 g t1 t2 is equals to 1 by 8 g into t1 plus t2 whole square. They are asking us about find the ratio of two different times. That means they are talking about, let's say they are talking about t1 upon t2. This is the question, t1 upon t2. The best way to do after this step is take t2 common from this equation, right? Take t2 common from this equation. This will become, by the way, I can cancel out this g, of course. I can write down 4 over here, right? So this will become 12 t1 t2 is equals to, let's take t2 common. So we'll get t2 square and I'll get t1 upon t2 plus 1 whole square. One of the T2 will get cancelled out, and I'll get, please see, finally I'll get 12 T1 upon T2 is equals to T1 upon T2 plus 1 whole square. Let's assume T1 upon T2 to be some constant K. So 12K is equals to K plus 1 whole square. Solve this quadratic equation. See, the question is very, very good. So do not lose your hope, right? That's why we are solving. We have got 1 month. Let's solve questions like these. It will give you a new perspective, right? And if you're going to do the same thing for all the other chapters, there is high chance, high probability that many of the questions are going to repeat in your RE-NEET exam. So do not lose hope. Everything is under control. These formulas are very easy. Now after this step, my dear friends, what you can actually do is you can take the root both the sides. So you are going to get 2 to the 4, 2 root 3 K is equals to, okay, let's do one thing, don't worry, let's solve it like this, K square plus 2K plus 1. So we are going to get K square minus 10K plus 1 is equals to 0. You have got a quadratic equation, and the answer will be K equals to minus B plus minus under root B square minus 4AC divided by 2A, right? Finally, K is coming out to be, my dear friends, K is coming out to be, if you're going to closely see, this is actually 10 plus minus, this is under root 96, right? Under root 96 can be written as, my dear friends, convert it, divided by 2, quickly. Be quick, find it out, find this answer. This is going to be your final answer. This is going to be your T1 upon T2. This is going to be 10 plus minus and root 96, right? What we can write? Find what we can write for root 96, dosto. Be quick. Quick. We can write it as 4 root 6. We can write it as 4 root 6, right? We can write it as 4 root 6 divided by 2. So this will become 5, this will become 2. So obviously answer will be in positive. So T1 upon T2 will be 5 plus 2 root 6. 5 plus 2 root 6. Now the point is that how you are going to understand which option is going to be the correct one, by looking at them. Root 3 multiplied by root 2 is root 6. Root 3 multiplied by root 2 is root 6. That means option B is correct. Let me also tell you how I know this, because if you are going to have root 3 minus root 2 divided by root 3 plus root 2, and you are going to rationalize it, in the denominator you will have 1, and this will become root 3 square, right? Root 3 square is, where shall I write out? Root 3 square is 3, root 2 square is 2, and root 3 into root 6 is minus root 6, right? And divided by 1. So you are going to get two answers, 5 plus minus 2 root 6. So correct answer is going to be option B. A very, very nice problem. A very, very nice problem, my dear friends. All right, hold on. Now I'm explaining it all over again if you have got any doubt. The question is actually based on a very simple concept. The simple concept is, see, the simple concept is this. If you are going to throw any particle with any velocity, and let's suppose the particle is reaching at a height small h, the total height is capital H, then the particle will again come back to the same point. At that same point it will have the same velocity. Now there are certain shortcut formulas which are going to save a lot of time of yours. right? It is going to save a lot of time of yours. And those shortcut formulas are, first of all, this is small h, the height at the height of the same level, right? So small h is equals to half g t1 t2. Clear? Next is this total height h. So we can also relate between total height and these two times. So total height is 1 upon 8 g t1 plus t2 whole square. So that's all I have done. They have said that this height is h by 3. So I have written h by 3 is equals to 1 upon 2 g1 g2, 1 upon 2 g t1 t2, and total height is h. So I have written h equals to 1 by 8 g t1 plus t2 whole square. Now in this formula I can also rewrite this h by 3 as h equals to 3 by 2 g t1 t2. So I can equate this equation and equate this equation. After equating these two equations, I will get something this. And they are asking about T1 and T2. So I have taken T2 common from this square, from this bracket. So it will become T2 square over here. One of the T2 will get cancelled out. This will become T1 upon T2, as you guys can see. And this also becomes T1 upon T2. That's what I wanted to find. After that, you know each and every step. It is only about when you are solving these kinds of problems in your exam, you need to be patient and you need to have the confidence that you are doing the right thing. Else what will happen, that you are going to have these thoughts ki maybe I am wasting my time, maybe it won't take this much time to solve these questions, right? And you are going to move on to the next problem. So have patience, solve questions like these in which you need to use some of the rough page, some of the rough space, right? Now let's move on to the next question. Hopefully everything is clear, my dear friends. Be quick. If you have any doubt, do let me know, else I'll move on. Okay? Else I'll move on. So, one or two more shortcut formulas for you. For motion under gravity. I have already discussed these two formulas. Please remember, h is equals to 1 upon 2 g1 g2. Maximum height is equals to 1 upon 8 g t1 plus t2 square. We have got one more formula like this, which is something like this. Let's suppose we have got three particles. One of the particle is thrown downwards with velocity v2, one of the particle is thrown upward with velocity v1, and one of the particle is thrown horizontally with velocity v3. So again, my dear friends, because this is the common height, we can simply write half g t1 t2. Got it? So this formula is very, very important. See, one of the particle is thrown up with velocity v, one of the particle is thrown downward with velocity v, right? So the time taken, the total height h can be written as 1 upon 2 g1, 1 upon 2 g t1 t2. And one more formula, that is t3 can be written as under root t1 t2. T3 can be written as under root t1 t2. Clear? And by the way, these are thrown with the same speed. Although I was saying v1, v2, v3, but they are thrown with same speed. Then we are going to discuss these two formulas. So this is also very, very important. Note these things. All right, now let's talk about this formula. This question. Let's solve this. Be quick. Be quick. A ball is thrown vertically upward with an initial velocity of 150 meter per second. With an initial velocity of 150 meter per second. The ratio of velocity after 3 seconds and 5 seconds is this. This is an easy problem, so let's quickly solve it. So after 3 seconds and it is thrown with vertical velocity upward, right? And initial velocity is 150 meter per second. So I think what we can do is we can simply use the first equation because they have given us time also, right? So V1 is equals to U1 minus 10 into 3 and V2 is equals to 150 minus 10 into 5. That's it, my dear friends. So I don't think you have any doubt in this. You can solve this question by yourself, right? 5 is answer, so 5 is the answer, no problem, right? Take the ratio of these two things and equate it to x plus 1 divided by x. That's it. Now you guys can solve this question. Let me know if you have any doubt. Be quick. Be quick, my dear friends. Let me know if you have any doubt. I think everyone can solve this question, right? Clear? Because this is a very easy problem, I'm moving on to the next one. Let's see this problem. This question is saying a gas balloon is going up with a constant velocity of 10 meter per second. A constant velocity. So do not consider acceleration due to gravity. Got it? Do not consider acceleration due to gravity. When this balloon reached a height of 75 meter, a stone is dropped from it. Balloon keeps moving up with the same velocity. The height of the balloon when stone hits the ground is dash meter, and you have to find out that. Let's quickly do it, my dear friends. 90 seconds. Let's start. Be quick. Let me explain the diagram to you. The diagram is basically something like this. Let's say this is ground, and somewhere over here we have got a hot air balloon, right? And it is going up with a constant velocity of 10 meter per second. And at a height of 75 meter, my dear friend, a stone is dropped. So my dear friends, when a stone will get dropped now, please try to understand this thing, that at that point, stone will have the same velocity as the system. The stone will have the same velocity as the system, but suddenly the stone will be exposed to gravity, because stone doesn't have any engine, it doesn't have any fuel, right? The balloon was moving up with a constant velocity of 10. There we are not going to talk about acceleration due to gravity, because of acceleration due to gravity and force by the engine. Engine basically means force by the jet, right? Because of all of those things, the constant velocity is 10. That means net force acting on the balloon is 0. Clear? And it is moving with constant velocity of 10 meter per second in upward direction. So when you are going to throw the stone will move something like this. It will first go up, then it will come down. So let's find out the total time for the stone to fall. So we are going to use the third equation, that is S is equals to ut plus half at square. So S is actually minus 75. Initial velocity is 10. Time we have to find out, minus half 10 into t square. Hopefully everything is clear. This is 5, right? And this is 2 and this is 15. So you will get t square minus 2t and minus 15 is equals to 0. From here, find out the time. From here, my dear friends, find out the time. Be quick. Be quick. Find out the time. So time will be b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So 2 plus, obviously I am going to take plus, this is going to become 8 divided by 2. So that means I am getting 5 seconds. So in 5 seconds it will come down. So that means in 5 seconds this balloon will go up by 10 into 5, that is 50 meter from here. So this is 75, this is 50. So total distance will be 75 meter plus 50 meter, that is 125 meter. Let me know if you have any doubt. Be quick. Let me know, my dear friends, any problem? Clear? Done? I've got only one correct answer. Quickly let me know in the chat box if any student has any doubt. Clear? Right? Understand, when we are going to talk about balloon, we are not going to consider acceleration due to gravity. When you are going to talk about stone, you are not going to consider constant velocity. Right? It will become a normal problem of motion under gravity. Clear? Now let's move on to the next question. let's read this one. This question is saying this is a normal basic problem. So just to explain differentiation to you, I'm using this question. This is not a new problem. But other than this problem, I have explained almost all new questions to you from JEE mains, right? This question is saying a particle is moving in a straight line. The variation of position of x as a function of t is given like this. Fine, great. And then they are asking us the velocity of the body when acceleration becomes 0. So velocity can be written as, velocity is basically dx by dt. Velocity is dx by dt. So we are going to get 3t square minus 12t plus 20. Acceleration is dv by dt. That means 6t minus 12, and then they are saying when acceleration becomes 0. When acceleration becomes 0, so this is 0, so t will be equals to 2 seconds. So substitute 2 seconds in this equation, right? Substitute 2 seconds in this equation and you will get your answer. That is 3 times 4 minus 12 times 2 plus 20. So this is going to become 12 minus 24 plus 12. This will be minus 12 plus 20, that means 8 meter per second. This is a normal general type of problem. Okay, let's move on. Let's see this question. For the given velocity time graph, find the distance traveled in 0.5 second. Find distance traveled in 0.5 seconds. 60 seconds is the time that I'm going to give you in this question. Be quick. Let's find out the answer for this one. You have to find out the distance traveled. Initial velocity is 20. Final velocity is 400. Total time is 2. Initial velocity is 200 meter per second. Final velocity is 400 meter per second. See, I obviously know that if I'm going to find out the slope of this graph, that is tan alpha, that will simply give me acceleration, and that is, this is 200, this is 2, so this is going to be 200 divided by 2, because average acceleration will be same because we have got a uniformly accelerated motion, right? If you have got a straight line in velocity time, that means acceleration is constant, and it is a uniformly accelerated motion, also known as non-uniform motion, right? So this is going to become 100 meter per second. 100 meter per second. Clear? So you have got 100, acceleration is 100 meter per second. Now they are talking about distance traveled in 0.5 second. So distance traveled in 0.5 second, use S is equals to U T plus half A into T square, right? So this will become 25, this will become 12.5, this will become 100, and that means our answer will become 112.5 meter. 112.5 meter. Clear? Option B. All right, good. Clear? Everything sorted? Any more doubts? Let's move on to the next one. Let's see this question. Another question related with graphs. A wooden block initially at rest on the ground. A wooden block initially at rest on the ground is pushed by a force which increases linearly. The force increases linearly with time. Got it? So that means force is directly proportional to t. Which of the following curve best describes the acceleration of the block? Solve questions like this if you if you want to prepare yourself for your RE-NEET exam, because again NTA can give questions where you are going to have doubts, especially in things like this. Kindly see option, this is option C and option D. They look, I mean, if you are not going to pay sufficient attention, you are going to mark the wrong answer. Why not D? Why not D? Why you guys are saying C? Why not D? Explain why not D. Fine, the option will be either C or D. A is absolutely wrong, B is absolutely wrong. Because if force directly depends upon time, that means acceleration directly depends upon time. So the graph between A and T is going to be a straight line graph. But why not D? Why not D? You have got a block like this, right? They are not talking about friction. They are not talking about friction or anything, right? And they are saying that block is at rest. Initially, block is at rest. And it is pushed by a force which increases linearly with time t. So that means if initially it is at rest, there is no force acting on it. So at t equals to 0, force should be 0. If it is not 0, that means block should move because there is no friction as of now. Are you getting it what I am trying to say? If block is at rest at t equals to 0, that means there is no force acting on it, because if a force will act on it before, I mean t equals to 0, then we will say that at t equals to 0 it was moving with some velocity. Got it? So we have increased the force linearly from 0. Got it? We have increased the force linearly from 0. Clear? So correct option should be D. Correct option should be D. Maxwell, good. Please give me reason. Please. Please, please, please. I have given you my reason. If you have any doubt, do let me know. According to me, answer should be D. I am waiting for you guys. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Clear? All right. Come on. Can we move on? Clear? Great. Question is nice. This is what I was exactly saying, right? Solve questions like these. And in your exam, please, whenever you are going to take the correct answer, do not get excited. Oh, fine, I have got my answer, and take it and then move on. Hold. Please understand what the question is saying and choose the best option. Choose the best option. Surely there will be some doubt, there will be some ambiguity after your paper, but at that point of time in your NEET exam hall, choose the best option. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Statement based, right? In NEET 2026, we have seen a lot of statement based questions, lots of match the column questions, which made the NEET exam easy. Area of the velocity time graph gives distance traveled. This is absolutely wrong. This is absolutely wrong, right? It gives us displacement. Then area under acceleration time graph gives change in velocity. This statement is correct. So statement 1 is false, statement 2 is true. As I have said that I am trying my best to complete the chapter. So for that I am also having some of the easier questions, right? And mostly, as you guys can see, like this problem or like this problem. These are all level 2 problems, my dear friends. This is a level 3 problem. If you are going to include calculation, concept is level 1, level 2, right? But we are including all sorts of problems. Come on, let's do this question. See, easy but lengthy. The displacement x versus time graph, I'm going to give you time in this 90 seconds. Let's start. I'll step aside. I'll just read it for you. You have got a displacement time graph, right? You have got a displacement time graph. But Arsh, my dear buddy, there was no friction in that case, right? There was no concept of friction, Arsh. Okay, that's why. If there was friction, then your answer would be correct. The displacement x versus time graph shown below. Okay, fine, let's do it. Average velocity during 0 to 3. Solve. And see, these are the options A, B, C, D. Quick. Come on, now I think I can start. See, the first, let's go step by step. They are talking about average velocity. Average velocity during time 0 to 3 seconds. Average velocity is, by the way, average velocity is displacement, total net displacement divided by total time, right? And this is displacement from 0 to 3. So 0, body is starting from origin, please pay attention. Body is starting from origin, it again comes back to origin. So in total time 3 seconds, the displacement is 5, right? In total time 3 seconds, displacement is 5. So for A, the average velocity should be, the magnitude should be, my dear friends, displacement is 5 and time is 3. So 5 by 3 meter per second. And in positive. So this is wrong. The average velocity during 3 to 5 is 0. 3 to 5. 3 to 5. So at 3, body was at 5 meter. At 5 second, body is at 5 meter. So this is absolutely correct. Option B is absolutely correct. Option B, my dear friends, when you are going to find out the average velocity, you are going to actually write something like this. Final displacement minus initial, I mean, I don't have to write down the vector because I am writing x, right? Initial displacement divided by t. So it is actually 5 minus 5. 5 minus 5 divided by time is 2 seconds. So this is going to be 0 meter per second. So option B is absolutely correct. So if option B is absolutely correct, option A can't be your answer. Before checking before solving the entire question, always see the options. If let's suppose there was only one option in which B is mentioned, we would have simply selected that and moved on. But right now we have to solve. The instantaneous velocity, my dear friends, instantaneous velocity, that means we need to find out the slope at t equals to 2 seconds. At t equals to 2 seconds means at this point, let's find out this slope. So this is your base is of 1 and this is your height is of 5. So slope will be, let's say this is alpha. So tan alpha will be perpendicular divided by base, that means 5 meter per second. That means answer is correct. Correct. The average velocity during 5 to 7. The average velocity during 5 to 7 and instantaneous velocity at 6.5 are equal. So instantaneous velocity at 6.5, that means we have to find out slope of this line. So slope of this line, let's say it is beta. Obviously it will be negative. I am finding out the magnitude. Don't get worried, my dear friends. This is 10. So perpendicular is 10. This is 1. So that means answer is 10 meter per second. Magnitude is 10 meter per second. And what they are saying, the average velocity between 5 to 7. So average velocity between 5 to 7 will be initial it was 5, finally it is at 0. So that means displacement is 5 and this is going to be 2. So this is absolutely wrong. So D is absolutely wrong. B, C is correct. So that means D is correct. D is correct. Let's check E also. The average velocity from t equals to 0 to 9. 0 to 9. At 0 the body was at origin. At 9 the body is at origin. Yes. E is also correct. That means D is correct. Very good, Maxwell, Yash, Robin, Henry, good. Any doubt, my dear friends? Clear? Sir, first one again. Sir, first one again. First one. What is first one? Average velocity during 0 to 3 second. At t equals to 0, body is at origin. At 3 second, body is at 5. So, displacement will be 5 meter. Total time is 3 seconds. So, 5 by 3. They are saying it should be 10. A is not correct. Bhai, bata diya, hurry. I have explained it now. Alright, clear? Moving on. Moving on. A particle moves along the x-axis, has the displacement x varying with time t according to this equation. Okay, according to this equation, where C0 and C are constants of appropriate dimensions. Then which of the following statements is correct? Chalo, let's start. 90 seconds. Begin, my dear friends. X, they have given you x, you have to find out the acceleration. They have given you x, you have to find out the acceleration. Come on. Be quick. Let me know if you have any doubt. The concept says that acceleration will be basically acceleration will be dv by dt or d2x by dt square. d2x by dt square. Clear? d2x by dt square. So let's differentiate it twice. So if you want to write down v, we are going to write down c0. This will become 2t. This will become 0. Friends, hold on. We are going to use chain rule over here, right? Chain rule. So we are going to bring this 2 down and we are going to write t minus 2, and then differentiation of t will become 1, differentiation of minus 2 will become 0. So we'll get something like this. Then again let's differentiate it. So we are going to get 2c0 plus 2c. So I think D is matching. C0 plus C. Good, very good. Subhashini, Henry, Maxwell, Jaya, Yash. All right, clear? Any more doubts in this problem, my dear friends? Be quick if you have any doubt. You can solve some questions like this also, although now chance is less that NTA is going to ask a problem like this, because it has already asked this question in 2024 and in some previous year also, right? But I'll help you how to solve these kinds of problems whenever you, although there is also a short trick to solve this question, but I'm not explaining that short trick to you. Simply find out dt by dx. So you are going to get 2 alpha x plus beta, and that means velocity will become dx by dt, and let's reciprocate this. So we are going to get 1 upon 2 alpha x plus beta, and then acceleration will be v dv by dx, right? So we are going to write v as it is, and then you again differentiate this. So when you are going to differentiate this, you are going to get minus 2 alpha and divided by 2 alpha x plus beta whole square, or we can get minus 2 alpha divided by 2 alpha x plus beta whole cube, right? Or what you can do is you can actually rewrite this thing, right, in terms of v. You can write in terms of v 2 alpha v cube, right? You can also rewrite this thing as 2 alpha v cube, and minus sign basically tells us that it is retardation. Answer will be A here, right? Come on, let's move on now. Next question. Position of an ant moving in a YZ plane is given by this equation. Okay, it is given by this equation. All right, it is given by this equation. The magnitude and direction of the velocity of the ant at t equals to 1 second will be. Find out. Be quick. Quick. Find it out, my dear friends. 60 seconds. You have to find out the magnitude and direction. You have to find out the magnitude and direction. Please see, question is very easy. Position of an ant is given. Position of an ant is given. S equals to 2t square j cap. That means Vy will become differentiation of Sy, that will be 4t j cap meter per second, right? And Vz will become 0. Just a second. Vz will become 0. This is very easy. So answer will be simply 4 in y direction. 4 in y direction. D is correct. D is correct. It's very easy. Don't say B here. That is j cap. That is j cap. This is very easy. Although I have got some very good problems related with this in 2-dimensional motion. So you will have to wait till then, right? Okay, let's move on. Again, a similar type of a problem. A particle starts from origin from rest and moves with a uniform acceleration. Acceleration is uniform. That means acceleration is constant. That means uniformly accelerated motion, velocity is going to increase at a constant rate. Along the positive x direction, identify the figure that is not correctly representing the motion qualitatively. Okay. So if it is moving with uniform acceleration, that means acceleration is constant. So acceleration will not change with time. So first graph is absolutely correct. And because it is starting from rest, that means initial velocity will be 0 meter per second. So that means option B is also correct. This is not correct because according to this, body is coming to rest after some time because slope is decreasing. So this is absolutely wrong. And body starts from origin, that means graph will start from here and it will move like this, that means D is also correct. So A, B, D. Just a second. Do we have any other problem? Along the positive x direction, acceleration is A. A is constant, this graph is absolutely correct. From rest moves with uniform along positive, identify the graph. A, B. They are saying that is not oh. So your teacher just now have demonstrated one major mistake that you should not commit. You must not forget this not, just like me, right? Although I got saved because there was no option like A, B, D, but in this they are saying Not correct. Very, very important thing. A live demo. Not correct. So C is not correct according to me. C is not correct. Clear? Right? C is not correct. This is correct. This is correct. This is correct. This is not correct. So C option is going to be our correct answer. Okay, my dear friends, let's move on. Any more doubts? Clear? Be quick. All right. Done? Come on, let's do this question. I have told you these many questions from kinematics will be more than sufficient for you. All right, are going to be more than sufficient for you. Please do these questions with me. After some time, revise these problems. When a ball is dropped into a lake from a height of 4.9 meter, my dear friends, whenever you get 4.9 meter or 19.6 meter, always take the value of G as 9.8. Above the water level, it hits the water with a velocity v, then sinks to the bottom with a constant velocity v. It reaches the bottom of the lake in 4 seconds. After it is dropped, the approximate depth of the lake is. Come on, let's do it. So let's say this is a lake, right? And this is the bottom of the lake and the particle is being dropped from this point. So initial velocity is 0. This height is 4.9 meter. This height is 4.9 meter. And then they are saying it reaches the bottom of the lake after it is dropped. This is very important. That means from here to here it takes 4.9 seconds. 4.9 seconds. I can find out this time very easily. This time. And after this it is moving with the constant velocity v. I can also find out v. I can also find out v, right? So first let's find out v. So v will be equals to 0 plus a. Achha, oh, okay, sorry. So first of all we need to find out time taken, right? So 4.9 meter. I am using second equation, by the way. I am using second equation. So 4.9 meter is equals to initial velocity is 0, half. I have told you take acceleration as 9.8, right? And by the way, this is what I was telling you, that this 4.9 is nothing but 9.8 divided by 2 into t square. T will be 1. So this time will be 1 second. That means this time is 3 seconds. Clear? I am so sorry. This time is 1 second. So this time will be 4.9 minus 1 second. That is 3.9 second. 3.9 second. Clear? 3.9 second. And let's also find out the velocity. So v will be equals to v square equals to u square plus 2a. A is 9.8 into s, that is 9.8 divided by 2. So v will be equals to 9.8 meter. So v is 9.8. Now I also know the time it reaches bottom after it is dropped, right? So, and the total time was 4 seconds. Sorry, I don't know why I have written 4.9. This is 4. This is 4 seconds. So this is going to be 3 seconds. right? So simple now, my dear friends, V is equals to distance upon time. So distance will be 9.8 times 3. So last digit will be 4, right? So 29.4 is the correct answer. Clear? Done? Any more doubts? Be quick. Be quick. Let me know in the chat box if you guys are getting the answer as B. My dear friends, quick. Everyone's getting the answer as B. Yes or no? Clear? Clear, 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 clear. B is absolutely correct. Okay, good. Jaya, Nehala, Robin, Yash, good. Let's move on to the next one. Clear? B. Alright, let's move to the next question. Two trains A and B of length L and 4L are traveling into a tunnel of length capital L. Please ask your doubt if you have any doubt. Madhu, please ask me. I'll help you. Two trains A and B of length L and 4L are traveling into a tunnel of length capital L in parallel tracks from opposite direction. Fine. With velocities 108 km per hour. You have to convert it. And 72 km per hour respectively. Fine. If train A takes 35 seconds less. Okay. If train A takes 35 seconds less time than train B to cross the tunnel, then length L is equals to. Length capital L is equals to. Alright. Let's start. I'll solve this question for you. No problem. See, the question is basically something like this. Let's suppose we have got a tunnel. We have got a tunnel like this. This is a tunnel. And let's say this is train A. This is train A. And train A has length L. And this is actually 60L. This tunnel is actually of length 60L. And then you have got train B. Train B has length 4L. And A is moving with 108. My dear friends, 108 multiplied by 5 by 18. 18 6. This is going to become 30 meter per second. Train B is moving in this direction with 72 km per hour. 72 times 5 by 18. 4. This is 20 meter per second. Now please understand. Time taken by train A is 35 seconds less. So first let's talk about train A. So time taken to cross the train will be, this distance is 60L and the length is L. So speed is 30 meter per second. Speed is 30 meter per second. Distance is L plus 60, that means 61L divided by time, that is TA. So TA will be 61L divided by 30. Equation number 1. Let's do the same thing with B. Speed is 20 meter per second. This is 60, that is, so this will become 64L divided by time is TB. So TB is 64L divided by 20. So I've got my two equations. Now they are saying train A takes 35 seconds less. So that means equation will be TB is equals to TA plus 35. So 64L by 20 is equals to 61L by 30 plus 35, right? Yeah, 35 seconds. So let's do one thing. This will become 64L and minus 61L, and let's do one thing, my dear friends. This is 20 and 60. 20 and 30, so let's make it as 60, and to make it as 60 we'll have to multiply 3 over here and we'll have to multiply 2 over here, and this will become 35. Please solve and let me know what L we are getting from here. Quick, 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 be quick. Help me, what value of L we are getting after this? Be quick, we are getting 30. You solve it, we are getting 30 centimeter. And this is 30 centimeter, so this will be 60 multiplied by 30 centimeter, that means 1800 centimeter. 1800 meter. Answer is in meter. We have used SI unit. Answer is in meter. 1800 meter. Clear? No poll for this one. I have solved it. Let me know if you have any doubt. All good? Train B was taking 35 seconds more. This is TB. So TB will be equals to TA plus 35. After that, you just have to solve for L. And length of the tunnel is equals to 60 times of L. So L comes out to be 30. So 30 into 60 will be 1800. Maxwell, it is very simple. See, I'll help you in this one. This is the tunnel. When you are going to talk about time taken by train A to pass the tunnel, it will start when this portion will cross the entrance, right? That's where we are going to start our stopwatch. Clear? This is t equals to 0. Now, we are going to say that the train has passed when the last compartment of the train, when the last bogie of the train will pass the tunnel. Clear? So, this length is 60L, this length is L, so total length will be 61L. Alright, this length will be 61L. Done? Similarly, for B also, we are going to start the time, we are going to start the stopwatch for B when train B will enter this entrance, the entrance of the tunnel. And we are going to stop the stopwatch when complete train B will have its exit. And that will happen when its end point, when its end compartment will pass through this tunnel. So this length is 4L, this length is 60L, that's why total length becomes 64L. Clear? Now hopefully everything is sorted. After this, you just have to find L. You just have to use this equation. Train A takes 35 seconds less, that means train B takes more. That's it. Now I'm moving on. Hopefully everything is clear after this. Five by 18, but 5 by 18, kilometer per hour to meter per second. Kilometer per hour to meter per second. We have to multiply 5 by 18. Maxwell, we have to convert kilometer per hour to meter per second, we have to multiply 5 by 18. Don't ask doubts like these. A particle is moving with a velocity of 10 meter per second towards east. Okay, this is an easy problem, so you guys can solve it. After 10 seconds, its velocity changes towards north. So magnitude does not changes, but direction changes. Right? Magnitude does not changes, but direction changes. They are saying that initially velocity was towards east, then its velocity changed in this direction. Clear? Right? So my dear friends, we are going to do one thing. This is U, this is V. We are going to write V minus U. So the vector sum of these two vectors will be somewhere over here. So this is going to be the acceleration. This is going to be the acceleration. And this is 10. This is 10. So this is going to be 10 root 2. 45 degree. Right? So, 10 root 2 divided by time, that is 10, that is root 2. So root 2 towards northwest. Root 2 towards northwest. Root 2 towards northwest. Clear? Very easy. Root 2 towards northwest. Not a very difficult problem. Now let's start. For motion under gravity, we have almost covered all types of problems. Please note these 3 important points also. This is also going to save a lot of time. Ratio of displacement if an object is dropped from a tower. If an object is dropped from a tower, then displacement in equal time interval is 1:3:5, right? 1:3:5. Ratio of time covering equal distances. Over here, time is already equal. Now we are saying that if distances are equal, then find out the ratio of time. That ratio comes out to be 1:√2 minus √1 is to √3 minus √2 and so on, right? And the last is the ratio of distance covered at the end of t, 2t, 3t. This is going to become 1 square, 2 square, 3 square. Let me tell you, most of the time all students remember the first one, but second and third is usually neglected by you guys. So make a note of it. NTA can ask the second point and third point. They can give you a question like this, right? And you don't need to solve these things in your exam if you are revising your notes efficiently. A particle is dropped from rest from a large height. Assume g to be constant throughout the motion. The time taken by it to fall through the successive distances of 1 meter. That means equal distance. Equal distance basically means √1 is to √2 minus √1, √3 minus √2. Option C is correct. Clear? Option C is correct. Directly select the third option. Although if you want, we can derive it. In the previous few live lectures when we were talking about the first NEET exam of 2026, I have actually derived these things. But I think now it is not needed. If you guys will say, ki sir, please derive it, I can derive it. Else, please remember this point. Alright. Now let's move on. There is also one very important point, which is something like this. Another important note. A car accelerates from rest. A car accelerates from rest at a constant rate alpha for some time, after which it deaccelerates at a constant rate beta to come to rest. Then the total time elapsed is t. Total time elapsed is t. Then first of all, maximum speed will be alpha beta. Let me also write it down for you. The maximum speed will be alpha beta divided by alpha plus beta times t. And this is very important. Total distance is 1/2 alpha beta divided by alpha plus beta times t square. And this is how the graph looks like. And let me tell you one question based on this note. This is from JEE Mains 2021. They have said a car accelerates at a constant rate alpha. Exactly the same question. Deaccelerates at constant rate beta comes to rest. If the total time elapsed is small t, the total distance traveled will be. So this is 1/2 alpha beta into t square. 1/2 alpha beta into t square divided by alpha plus beta. Save your time. Remember these tricks. These are nothing is trick in physics and in these subjects, but you can save your time if you are going to remember notes like these, right? Especially in cases like motion under gravity, kinematics. In almost every chapter we are going to talk about these notes, right? So this question is also done and dusted. Now let's move on. Now let's talk about projectile motion. Quickly write down in the chat box if motion under gravity, if kinematics 1D is all done. Can we move to motion in 2D? Obviously, you know, when we are going to talk about projectile motion, we are going to keep on solving the same thing, right? We are going to keep on solving the same thing. So let's start. Before moving on, let me tell you some of the formulas, some of the important formulas of projectile motion. See, the basic formula everyone knows. Maximum height, range, everyone knows these formula. This is a very important shortcut. Please remember it. Again, this is going to save a lot of time, especially the relation between maximum height and range. The relation is 4 times of maximum height is equals to range multiplied by tan theta, where theta is the angle of projection. This is very important. Also, another relation is these two are also equals to 5t square. See, sometimes what happens that they said ki we have thrown a particle with 20 meter per second of velocity and this is the time of flight. Then you find out the angle and then you again substitute that in range, you again substitute that in maximum height formula, and then you get to the answer. What you can directly do it, you can, if they have already told you time of flight, you can directly find out maximum height. You can directly find out range, right? Obviously, after finding out maximum height, you will have to find out theta. But if they have already told you time of flight, you can directly find out maximum height. Let me tell you some questions like this. Let's start from here and then I'll explain some more problems. Class duration, abhi we have got only 2 hours are finished. We are going to study for another 2 hours, right? Minimum another 1.5 hours. Okay, let's quickly, and if questions are completed, then we can end our class, no problem. My objective is that after today's class, you guys, kinematics should be all done. You must be prepared for kinematics. All right, now let's begin. Two projectiles are thrown with initial velocity making an angle 45 degree and 30 degree with the horizontal respectively. The ratio of their ranges is, my dear friends, in all of these kinds of problem, please use the formula of range as u square sine 2 theta divided by 2g divided by g, divided by g. Use these kinds of formula, right? So they are talking about ratio of ranges, so r1 upon r2, and then they are saying that it is thrown with same initial velocity. It is thrown with same initial velocity. That means range will only depend upon sine 2 theta, because u square and g are same. U square and g are same, so that means sine 2 times of 45 degree divided by sine 2 times of 30 degree. So that will be sine 90, and sine 90 is 1, and sine 60 is root 3 by 2. So 2 is to root 3. Easy. We are starting our chapter with easier questions. Wait for some time. I'm going to give you some pretty good problems from this chapter also. All right. Moving on to the next one. Let's see this question. Now you do it. The position coordinates of a particle moving in a 3D coordinate system. In a 3D coordinate system is given by x is equals to a cos omega t, y equals to a sin omega t, and z equals to a omega t. Find the speed of the particle. Find the speed of the particle, my dear friends. 90 seconds. Let's start. Find the speed of the particle. Be quick. I know that if x is given by a cos omega t, Vx can be written as minus a omega sin omega t. Vy can be written as differentiation of y, that is a omega cos omega t. Vz can be written as a omega. All right. And now if someone is asking about the net speed, that means magnitude of this square of Clear? This will become a square omega square, a square omega square, that means a omega root 2. Sometimes students do these kinds of mistake. They see a omega square, a omega square, a omega square, sine square, cos square 1, and they write down root 3 a omega. That would be wrong, right? Don't do this mistake. This a square omega square and a square omega square cos square will become 1. Clear? So option will be A. Good, very good. Moving on to the next one. Let's solve this question now. Be quick. Be quick. Do not do right. I mean, till now we have only it's only 1 hour, 2 hour. I mean, even less than 2 hour. So do not feel tired. We need to solve motion in a plane also, right? Try to understand. We are very efficiently using our time and we are completing these chapters. Now let's move to this question. Be quick. Starting the timer, 60 seconds. Let's start. Question says, the position vector of a moving body at any instant of time is given by r equals to this. The magnitude and direction of velocity at t equals to 2 second is. T equals to 2 second. This is r. This is I cap. That means Vx will be 10t and they are talking about at 2 second. So this will become 20 meter per second. I cap Vy will be minus 5 meter per second. J cap, right? It is independent of time. So direction of speed is, my dear friends, direction of speed is 20 meter per second I cap, 5 meter per second J cap. 20 meter per second over here and 5 meter per second over here. So net will be somewhere over here. Is that correct? Net will be somewhere over here and the magnitude will be under root of 400 plus 25. Hopefully everything is correct. Plus 25, right? That is root 425. Now you check what this value is. And we are going to also talk about the angle. Be quick. Yeah, I think everything is fine. Oh, I'm sorry. Just a second. Just a second. Everything's clear? So this is 5 root 17. This is 5 root 17. Although you don't have to calculate it all over again, we can see that it is 5 root 17 only, right? And making an angle, let's say this is theta x, this is theta y. So tan theta x will be perpendicular, that is 5 divided by, this is going to be 1 by 4, right? So that means tan theta y will be 4, right? Because tan theta y will be 20 divided by 5, it will be 4. So option A is correct. Option A is correct. Quickly write down in the chat box, right? Done? Very good. Option A is correct. Great. Moving on to the next one. The range of the projectile projected at an angle of 15 degree with the horizontal is 50 meter. If the projectile is projected with the same velocity at an angle of 45 degree with the horizontal, then its range is. Again, whenever you are going to get these angles like 15 degree or 45 degrees, it's fine, but for 15 degree, always remember we are going to use the formula of range as, range is by the way 50 meter, and formula is going to be u square sine 2 theta, that means sine 2 into 15 divided by g. So u squared divided by g times 1 by 2 is equals to 50, or u square by g is coming out to be 100 meter. And by the way, this is the range for range at 45 degree. So range at 45 degree, which is actually maximum, comes out to be u square sine 90 divided by g. So answer is going to be simply 100 meter. This is a very easy problem. So let's move on quickly, right? Let's move on quickly. Let's solve a nice problem, a better problem like this. Let's solve this question. Okay. So please remember why I am also keeping some of the easier questions, so that we can also cover the chapter. Now in this question they are saying the trajectory of a projectile in a vertical plane is given by this. This is the trajectory, where alpha and beta are constant and x and y are respectively the horizontal and vertical distances of the projectile from the point of projection. The angle of projection theta will be. Hold on. Now let me explain the theory to you. The theory is, the topic is actually equation of trajectory. Equation of trajectory. And equation is given by something like this. R equals to, sorry, y equals to x tan theta 1 minus x upon r. Please remember this. This is going to be very, very important for us. From two-dimensional motion, projectile motion, equation of trajectory is an important topic, right? So coming back to this, now they are saying we have to find out the angle of projection and the maximum height attained. Okay. So let's use our short trick. Let's use our short trick, my dear friends. If you remember, our short trick was this: 4 times of maximum height equals to r tan theta. Short trick is 4 times of maximum height is equals to r tan theta. Clear? This is the short trick that we are going to use. Now see, and wherever you are going to find the solution of this question, you are always going to find a lengthy solution. Okay, so let me help you in this. Let's compare this y is equals to alpha x, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to take alpha x common, so we'll get 1 minus beta divided by alpha into x. And if you are going to compare this with our general equation of y equals to x tan theta 1 minus x upon r, that means tan theta is equals to, alpha, or theta is equals to tan inverse alpha. Also, r is actually equals to alpha upon beta. R is equals to alpha upon beta. and they want us to find out the maximum height. So maximum height will be range into r into tan theta. So range is alpha upon beta into tan theta. So tan theta is alpha and divided by 4. So maximum height will be alpha square upon 4 beta. So alpha square upon 4 beta, there is only one option, C is correct. So angle is tan inverse alpha and H max is alpha square upon 4 beta. You are not going to find a more what I can say, the less lengthy solution than this. That is why I am again and again saying, for projectile motion, please remember formulas like this. Clear? Everything sorted? Be quick. Let me know in the chat box. I am moving on to the next one. Next question, similar like this. Let's see this one. A person can throw a ball up to a maximum range of 100 meter. Right? Maximum range of 100 meter. And then again they are talking about how high above the ball, how high above the ground he can throw the same ball. So again you can simply find out the range, maximum range. It is coming out to be 100 meter and it is u square by g, and then you can find out u and then again the next part. So this is very easy, you guys can solve this one. Moving on to the next one. You guys solve this question. The trajectory of projectile projected from the ground is given by this. You have to find out the maximum height attained by the projectile. Quickly start. 90 seconds. Let's begin. Quick. Equation of trajectory is given and they are talking about maximum height. They are talking about maximum height. Y equals to, let's take x common. So 1 minus x upon 20. If you are going to compare this equation with the general equation, my dear friends, y equals to x tan theta 1 minus x upon r. So you are going to get tan theta is equals to 1. Although we don't need that, I'll explain it to you why. See, range is coming out to be 20 meter, right? And okay, fine, we'll require tan theta. Range is coming out to be 20 meter. That means 4 times of maximum height is equals to range multiplied by tan theta. So tan theta is 1, range is 20. So H max will be 20 times 1 divided by 4. That means 5 meter. 5 meter is the correct answer. Option A. Clear? Quickly let me know. Trick is good. This shortcut formula is going to save a lot of time. Very good, everyone. Be quick. Done? Can we move on? Let's solve this question. A different type of a question. A particle is moving with velocity v equals to k some constant k times y I cap plus x j cap, where k is a constant. The general equation for its path is, we have to find out the equation of path, equation of trajectory. Be quick. You have to find out the equation of trajectory. Come on. See, this is the equation of velocity, right? This is this is I cap. So that means Vx is given by y I cap meter per second. That means this is dx by dt. Dx by dt is given by y I cap. See, this is important for you to understand how to solve questions like these. Pay attention. Pay attention, my dear friends. Similarly, Vy was given as xj cap. That means dy by dt is xj cap. I don't have to write down j cap and I cap over here. Let's talk about the magnitude. Now what my point is, see, equation of trajectory or equation of path basically means that we are concerned with a relation between x and y. We don't want time. We don't want time, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to take the ratio of these two things. When you are going to take the ratio of these two things, you are going to get dy by dx is equals to, so dy by dt divided by dx by dt, so you are going to get x by y. So let's transpose, this will become y dy and this will become x dy, x dx. Let's integrate it. So this will become y square upon 2. Y square upon 2 is equals to x square upon 2 plus some integration constant c. Right? So you are going to get y square is equals to x square plus 2 times of some integration constant, which further we can write as some another constant. So that means y square is equals to x square plus some constant. Option C is absolutely correct. Clear? Quickly let me know in the chat box if everything's clear, my dear friends. Done? Any more doubts? Moving on to the next one. Let's do this question. All of these questions are of level 2 problem, right? Good Henry, good Yash, Robin. Please pay attention over here. A particle is moving along the x-axis with its coordinates with time t given by. So this is the equation of x, fine. Another particle is moving along the y-axis. Another particle is moving along the y-axis and its coordinates as a function is given by this. So this is the coordinate of another particle. At t equals to 1 second, the speed of the second particle as measured in the frame of the first particle is given as under root v. You have to find out the value of v. Let's quickly solve this question. Be quick. This is a nice problem, my dear friends. So first of all, let's find out the velocity at t equals to 1. Let's find out the velocity at t equals to 1. So first we are going to find out Vx. This is the first particle, right? So Vx will be simply 8 minus 6t and t equals to 1. So that this is going to become 2 meter per second. Right? This is going to become 2 meter per second. And Vy will become minus 24 t square. So at t equals to 1, this will become minus 24 meter per second. That means particle x is moving in x direction with 2 meter per second and second particle is moving in y direction with 24 meter per second. Now they are saying we need to find out the speed of the at the speed of the second particle as measured from the first particle, that means Vy with respect to x, that is Vy minus Vx. So minus Vx would mean something like this. So that means resultant will be somewhere over here, and resultant will be square of 24 plus square of 2. Find this one out. Be quick. समझ नहीं आ रहा. So ask your doubt. If you have any doubt, be quick. Let me know. Question is of, definitely question is a better one. Level 2 problem you can ask me. Question is very simple. See, you have got one particle equation is given. You have got another particle equation is given. You can find out Vx after differentiating this equation. This will come out to be 2 meter per second after substituting t equals to 1 in the former equation. Correct? Similarly, equate t equals to 1 in this equation. After differentiating this, you are going to get minus 24. That means the second particle is moving in y direction, negative y, with a velocity of 24. The first particle is moving in x direction with a velocity of 2. Now they are saying at t equals to 1 second, the speed of the second particle as measured in the frame of the first particle. This is basically they are saying find out velocity of second with respect to first. That's it. All right, clear? Done? All right, my dear friends, let me calculate this for you. So you have got 24 times 24, that's 576, and plus we have got 4, right? 580. 580 is the correct answer. Some of you were also saying 580, very, very good. So this is going to become under root 580. Now if you have any doubt, please let me know. I'll explain it again. आ गया समझ में? Very good. Good, good, good. Question is very simple. You have got two particles. They have given their position time relation. Differentiate it. Substitute t equals to 1. You will get their velocity. Apply relative motion. Let's move on. Good. Very, very good. Question is, these questions are nice. Let's solve this question, my dear friends. All right, Ayush. A particle moving in a circle of radius r with uniform speed takes time capital T to complete one revolution. All right. It takes time capital T to complete one revolution if this particle is projected with the same speed at an angle of theta to the horizontal. The maximum height attained by it is equals to 4r. The angle of projection is. Class कब end होगा? हो जाएगा. In some time we will end the class. Let's first finish these questions. Henry, you first tell me, do you think these questions are beneficial for you? We are doing it for the first time, right? I have taken so many classes before our NEET 2026, but I don't think 95% of questions are new, right? So please, let's first solve them. It's going to be very important for you. See, they are saying that maximum height is actually equals to 4r. That's what they are saying. Is equals to 4r. And by the way, this r is radius, not range. Huh? And the formula is u square sine square theta divided by 2g. Now to find out u, they are also saying that this is the same particle which was moving in a circle of radius r with uniform speed which takes time t. That means u will be equals to 2 pi r divided by t. That's it. Let's substitute it. So you are going to get 4r is equals to 4 pi square r square sine square theta divided by 2 into g. Right? And what else? T also, right? So t square. So this gets cancels out. 1 over 1 r get cancels out. Sine square theta will be 2g into t square divided by pi square into r, right? And theta will be, so first take the root. So sine theta, okay, I'll just simply write down theta equals to sine inverse of 2g t square divided by pi square times r and root of it. 2g t square divided by pi square, 2g t square pi square. I think option D is correct. Option D is correct. Be quick. Any more doubts? Quickly let me know in the chat box. Answer D is correct. C. Come on. Sorted? Sir, tension aa raha hai. If you are having any problem in physics or in any other subject, for that moment of time you can start some easy chapter, right? Start to revise some easier chapter, and after some time again come back to these things. I mean, to those things which are making you worried, right? Come on, let's start. Let's move to next problem now. Okay, river boat problem. River boat problem. A river is flowing from west to east direction with a speed of 9 km per hour. If a boat capable of moving at a maximum speed of 27 km per hour in still water crosses the river in half a minute while moving with the maximum speed at an angle of 150 degree to the direction of river flow, then the width of the river is. All right. Shall I explain? Shall I explain, my dear friends? Okay, let me also explain you the concept of river boat problems or river man problems. See, let's suppose that this is one of the bank of the river, this is another bank of the river, right? This is the width of the river. Let's say width of the river is D. Let me simply draw two axes for reference. Let's say this is y axis, let's say this is x axis. Okay, and please always remember that swimmer, boat or man is going to swim. They are going to tell you that they are swimming with some velocity, and this is the direction of river velocity. This is VR. All right. Now, in that question, they are saying that this angle is 150 degree. This basically means that this angle is, this is 90. So this angle is 60 degree. Clear? Now let's go back to the question. See, they are saying that it can swim with the maximum speed in still water. In still water basically means that they are giving us VMR. They are giving us VMR. Please note this point, right? They are giving us VMR. So VMR is 25. 27. VMR is 27. This is 27. This is 9 km per hour. This is 27 km per hour. All right, good. Everything's clear over here. Let's draw the component of this VMR. If you are going to draw the component of this VMR, you are going to get VMR sine theta. Let's say this angle is theta. You are going to get, VMR cos theta. नहीं, क्या बोल रहा हूँ? VMR sine theta, and you are going to get VMR cos theta. Right? And please remember the basic thing that velocity of man with respect to ground is equals to velocity of man with respect to river plus velocity of river. right? So this is velocity of man with respect to river cos theta. That means this will be in j cap plus velocity of river minus velocity of man with respect to river sine theta, and this one will be in I cap. So this velocity is responsible to cross the river and this velocity is responsible for the drift. Right now they are only talking about crossing the river. Clear? All right. Kindly save for selection party, sir. Okay. Please see. Now they are saying, see, this is 27. This is 27 kilometer per hour. That means 5 by 18 and times cos 60. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. And further they are saying, in the question further they are saying that it crosses the river in half a minute. It crosses the river in half a minute. So time to cross the river is half a minute. So we know that velocity in y direction is 27 times 5 by 18 times 1 by 2 is equals to distance divided by time. Half a minute means 1 upon 2, which basically means something like this. So this will become 30, right? And my dear friends, if you are going to see, this will become actually 6, this will become 9, right? And then this will become 5. So D will become 9 into 25 divided by 2. Now let's find what this is. Be quick. Any more doubt? See, everything is under control if you are going to stick to the concept. 25 times 9 divided by 2, that means 112.5. 112.5. 112.5 meter. 112.5 meter, that means option B is correct. Please ask me if you have any doubt. See, let me explain again. They have told you that the swimmer can swim, or the boat, whatever that is, he can swim with 27 km per hour of maximum speed with respect to the river. That means they are talking about VMR, and at an angle of 150 degree from the river. That means from the vertical it will be 60 because this remaining angle is 90 degree. Let's first make the component of this. So this is going to become VMR sine theta, this will become VMR cos theta. Please remember this is in kilometer per hour. So to convert it into meter per second, we are going to write it down as 5 by 18. So 27 5 by 18 and cos 60 is 1 by 2. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. Now to cross the river, the the component which is responsible for this, for crossing the river, is this, only this VMR cos theta, and that is 27 5 by 18 into 1 by 2. Now speed is equals to distance upon time. So distance is d, time is half minute. So speed is equals to distance divided by time. So 1 by 2 minute. So to convert minute into seconds, that is 60 seconds. After this solve, you will get your answer. Quickly let me know in the chat box if everything's clear. Be quick. Got it? Friends, let me know. Any more doubt? Quick. Can we move to the next one? The velocity of a particle is given by v equals to minus x I cap plus 2 j cap minus z k cap. The magnitude of acceleration at point 1, 2, 4 is this. Alright. You have to find out the net acceleration at 1, 2, 4. So it is not about time. The relation is between v and x. The relation is between v and x. And you have to find out the magnitude of acceleration. Let's see. You have to actually use, concept is acceleration is equals to v times dv by dx. Concept is v times dv by dx. All right. So ax will be v times velocity at, first of all, let's find out velocity at this point. So velocity at 1, 2, 4 will be minus 1 I cap meter per second plus 2 times 2, that is 4 meter per second j cap plus minus 4 meter per second k cap. Clear? So ax will become, now my dear friends, please see, ax will become vx into dv by dx. So vx at that point is 1. Let's say that we are only talking about the magnitude, right? Let's only talk about the magnitude. Vx is 1, dv by dx. dv by dx is, if you are going to differentiate it, you are going to again get 1. That means finally answer is 1 meter per second square. Similarly, magnitude of ay will be vy into dv by dy. Now vy is 4 and dv by dy is 2. That means 8 meter per second square. And similarly, az will be vz times dv by dz. And again, I am only talking about the magnitude. So vz was 4 magnitude and dv by dz is 1. So this is also going to become 1. So net acceleration will be under root of 1 square plus 8 square plus 4 square. So this will be under root of 1 plus 64 plus 16. So my dear friends, I believe this is going to become 80, 81, that means 9. So 9 meter per second square. 9 meter per second square, option B is correct. Clear? Quickly write down in the chat box if everything's sorted. Ayush, this one, for this particular question, let me explain it again. If you have any doubt, let me explain it again. See, they have said, they have given you an equation in terms of x, y and z. Equation of velocity, right? So this is equation of velocity in terms of x, y and z. So that means please use, if you want to find out the acceleration, please use acceleration equals to v dv by dx, v dv by dy, v dv by dz, right? And velocity at 1, 2, 4 can be simply written by this, simply by substituting the values of x, y and z coordinate. So if you want to find out acceleration's x component of acceleration, that will be vx times dv by dx. If you want to find out acceleration y component, that will be vy dv by dy. So simply write vx and let's differentiate it with respect to x. Only this part. Right? Clear? Quickly write down in the chat box, my dear friends. And similarly for ay, let's write vy is 4 and let's differentiate this with respect to y. And then again for az, let's write vz, that is again magnitude is 4 and again differentiate this equation with respect to z. So again that will be 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. So this is 1, 8 and 4. Now net acceleration will be, because all of these are mutually perpendicular. X, Y, Z axes are mutually perpendicular. So net will be a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square. right? So that means 1 square plus 8 square plus 4 square, we are getting our answer as 9. Let me know if you have any doubt. Clear? Done? Be quick. Clear? Alright, let's solve this question also. Question says the angle of projection of a particle is measured from the vertical axis as phi. Alright. The maximum height reached by the particle is hm. Here hm as a function of phi can be expressed as. Let me explain this concept to you. This is not a concept, it's a very easy thing. See, what they are trying to say is that let's suppose a particle is projected. Okay, I don't know why this has come. Let's say the particle is projected with an angle of theta, right? With an angle of theta. Clear? And the path will be somewhat like this. Now what this question is trying to say is we need to write down a function, write down an equation such that we need to mark the angle from the vertical, and let's say this angle is phi. Clear? Now we know that maximum height is equals to u square sine square theta divided by 2g. Now can I write, instead of theta, can I write 90 minus phi? 90 minus phi. So that means if I want to write down phi, I'll write something like this. U square sine square, instead of theta I'm going to write 90 minus phi divided by 2g. My dear friends, this thing can be actually written as u square cos square phi divided by 2g. Cos square phi divided by 2g. Now please understand, as the particle will move in this direction, the phi will increase. As the particle will move, the phi will increase. As the phi increases, cos phi decreases. And as the cos phi decreases, maximum height will decrease. Clear? See, this is a nice problem. Understand what I am trying to say. When you are going to talk about this point, this angle has now increased. Now it is not no longer it is phi, but what I am trying to say that this vertical angle will keep on increasing. At the maximum height, the velocity is like this, and this phi dash becomes 90 degree. This is what I am trying to say, right? So initially phi dash was, maybe let's suppose if this is 60 degree, this was 30 degree, and at the maximum height it is becoming 90 degree. So as the particle is moving along the path, phi is increasing. If phi increases, if angle increases, cos decreases, and if cos is decreasing, that means maximum height will decrease, right? So if cos decreases, then maximum height decreases. Clear? And the relation will be something like this, C. All right. So if let's suppose this becomes 90 degree, then H max will become 0. Any more doubt? Please see, this is a nice problem. Okay. Clear? If you have any doubt, do let me know. Other than this, I want to tell you some more shortcut formulas of projectile motion. Note these one also down. This is also going to be very, very helpful. everyone knows that for complementary angle range are same, right? Everyone knows this. Now the next point is, for complementary angles also remember these things. That means if you have got like complementary angle like theta and 90 minus theta, then the ratio of their time of flight is basically tan theta. Ratio of their maximum height is tan square theta. Ratio of their ranges is going to be 1 because they are same. Ratio of their ranges are going to be 1. Sir 6 बजे बायो सेट मारना है. Okay, ठीक है. T1 T2, T1 T2, if you are going to multiply the time of flight, it will be 2r by g, right? After this we'll end the session. All right. H1 times H2 is r square by 16. See, now I'm not saying that please remember almost every other formula, but this is very important that if you are going to remember T1 upon T2 or T1 into T2, other than this, all of these formulas are important, but please remember that this formula is most important in projectile motion. It is going to save a lot of time. So again and again I'm saying, whenever you are going to do quotients of projectile motion or motion under gravity, kinematics, whole of kinematics, do not forget to use these shortcut formulas. Lot of time is going to be saved. If you are not going to use these shortcut formulas, you will be able to you will have to form quadratic equations, and then you will the solving part will actually increase. It will become a lengthy solution, right? So these things are very, very important. After this, my dear friends, I think most of the questions are done now. So that will be all. Now we'll meet in next class. All right. So Gaurav sir, there is also chemistry class. Gaurav sir will take his class, I think at 8 p.m. Yes, it is at 8 p.m. So please attend that also, right? So we have started our journey for RE-NEET exam. Now again, let me tell you the same thing. Any student who is going to solve these questions for kinematics, you are going to be more than prepared for your RE-NEET exam. After this, the only thing which is required is to solve more mock exams. That's it, right? Solve more mock exams and these questions will be more than sufficient. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. Right? If there is any confusion in any questions, do let me know in the comment section. All right. I think that particle A and B, the equations are inverse, right? I have written, instead of A, I have written equation of B, so correct that. Okay. Other than that, everything is fine. Solve these questions again. These questions require revision for one more time. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye.